Anyways, ladies, gentlemen,
such a
and
large
NBs, welcome to the Deprogram podcast, a very serious show ran by three very serious men. How did we get to episode 202? I don't even think. God knows.
No.
But we are back with an established classic, the most
GT,
complicated and convoluted type of show in the world where we read the news and then we comment on them. Welcome to Send Nudes, the 7 millionth episode. Let's get right into it because shit is dark.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Laying it on heavy. All right. Which one do we want to start with? I've got probably a really heavy one. Well, I've got one wholesome one, but we're going to start, since you gave us the grim intro here.
Excuse me?
With, unfortunately,
I
a
heard
very
you
violent...
say you go up N-word is what I heard. That's what I heard.
What the fuck?
Hakeem is in rare form today.
Oh my god.
Pivoting from race
Sorry.
jokes to 4 mass shootings over the last weekend of September.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
Putting up numbers again. USA. USA.
We continue to be number one. Sorry. But yeah, the last weekend of September was particularly violent, unfortunately. There were no fewer than 4 mass shootings. The one that received the most coverage was a shooting at a Mormon church in Michigan. Yeah. And this was a 40-year-old former Marine. He served from 2004 to 2008, so guess where that was. And he reportedly drove his car through the front door of the church, got out, fired into the crowd, and then set the building on fire. I'm a little unclear on the order there. That seems like a strange way to go about things. But regardless, the building was set on fire. He shot into the crowd, and then he killed at least 4 people and injured 8 in the direct shooting. Details not yet released at time of recording. 7 of the injured are in stable condition.
Maybe this is a kind of a grim question. I asked this not as in a joking way, actually.
Sure.
He is a war veteran, particularly Iraqi war veteran, so he's very skilled at targeting civilians.
Right.
How does he only kill 4 people? Like, it's unsuspecting people. He rams his car into. I'm assuming the place is packed.
Yeah,
right?
Hundreds of people. Yeah. I suspect, and this is something that tends to happen to veterans in the United States, they end up needing psychiatric care. So I assume this guy was not entirely lucid. I don't know.
Not a skill issue. Basically,
not a skill issue. I think at some point
this man needed psychiatric help.
Yeah, would be my guess. I don't know. They haven't released the motive. He was killed by the police.
I saw online some things about. Of course, by the way, he was killed by the police. But I saw something online. I don't know the veracity of them, but about talk of him being evangelical, and it's like a
I wouldn't be surprised.
Thing.
I would not be surprised.
From what I've understood, Mormons are kind of very well, quote unquote, assimilated in the United States. Nobody really fucks with them, or is this just a weird outsider perspective that I have?
Mormons are generally considered to be pretty chill. Like, no one has actual beef with Mormons except on a theology level. So it's, the evangelicals are very gung-ho about their particular flavor of, American big band religion kind of thing. So you mix that with a little bit of some mental issues, probably from PTSD, and it's not surprising that he would see them as an enemy. I don't know. I don't know. This is just me being an armchair, what's up with this guy? But I don't know. Generally speaking, Mormons are not considered much of a threat to other religious sects that I'm aware of, but we don't have many Mormons around here. No motive released yet for the shooter. Not clear how many more people were injured in the fire after the shooting. But yeah, that was one of them. That was the most deadly. A second one took place in North Carolina. This was another 40-year-old former Marine, also Iraq War. This time 3 people were killed, 5 others injured. This was less than 14 hours before the Michigan shooting. The shooter opened fire on a waterfront bar from a boat around 9:30 at night, and then he sped off. Very strange. The local police chief said the attack was, quote, highly premeditated, and that the suspect was known to the police and had, in fact, tried to sue the police station on multiple occasions. So, they knew this dude was weird. They said they did not suspect he was capable of violence, which clearly they were wrong on that one.
There's a Hispanic man down the street who had all his papers in order. I think they had their focus on that.
Yeah, perfectly legal, and they missed Jerry, the guy. Yeah, anyway. Eagle Pass, Texas. This is near the border with Mexico. 2 people were killed and 5 more were injured in Lucky Eagle Casino. Again, no motive announced, and as of Sunday, the police were still looking for the shooter. Very little information on that one. And then finally, in New Orleans, on the first block of Bourbon Street, it's the famous street, if you guys don't know.
Yeah. Also with shootings, like, wasn't it last year?
Yeah, there was another one last year. I was there like the day before, 2 days before that last shooting.
Sick.
Yeah. But anyway, 1 person was killed and 3 more injured. Again, shooter's identity not revealed, nor was any motive provided. So 4 shootings a single weekend. As of this past Sunday, which was the 271st day of 2025, there had been more than 320 mass shootings in the U.S., which is classified as a shooting in which 4 or more people are shot, whether fatally or not. So we continue to put up perennially high numbers in the shootings department. Again,
yet again reiterate, if this happened anywhere, not even in like a former socialist country, not even like the Soviet Union or Yugoslavia or whatever else, or in Cuba, but any of, like, if this was happening in Iran, 300 mass shootings a fucking year or whatever, this would be 24/7 news. It would be one of those talking points, right? Like, the
grounds for invasion
in China,
like humanitarian stuff.
Right, yeah, exactly right. You know, and genuinely. But also, to be, as I so frequently am, in bad taste about this, what is the common denominator between all the vast majority of these people? At least racially, I'm not going to be that guy. They're mostly white guys, from what I've seen, at least.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you condemn these attacks as a fellow white man, JT? You need to stand up.
Look, we don't know what's happening here.
Where this is going? Holy shit.
White on white crime is a problem.
All white men, they must all stand up 100%, or you're all the same. Okay, you're highly prone to ideologized violence.
Yeah, we have a genetic deficiency.
Most of them probably happen to be Christians, practicing Christians. I don't know if they are, but maybe.
I think this is why the rehabilitation or re-education camp for this particular brand of white guy is to funnel it entirely into like these made-up burger joints where it's like, the best burger in town. It's put on a wood platter. It's like found in 1989, but opened last fucking week. And it comes with the fries come in that little fryer basket.
Oh,
and they're like, we have a concept. Are you familiar?
Home of the Dense Boy Triple Burger.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. I think they need to be funneled into this and collecting like Pokemon cards.
Hell yeah. Just make them play Counter-Strike, and just force them into the gamer camps. But yeah, there's my first story of the afternoon for you. Apologies for starting us off on a grim note.
No, I think, and I think it leads us very easily into another type of chud. Just the guys that you mentioned illegally fuck up other people. I want to talk about ICE, who legally fuck up people, and to mention the tens of thousands of incidents they've been involved in over the last year would take another separate 200 additional episodes. So instead, I wanted to do something more useful. I wanted to contextualize ICE for you as a contradiction building on top of itself in the US of A of the 21st century. As you know, in recent years, mass deportation has been put forward not simply as an immigration policy, but as a political and class strategy. At first glance, the proposal to expel millions of undocumented people from the country seems very and completely irrational. It would cause significant economic harm, would disrupt industries, reduce GDP, drain tax revenue, and create massive logistical costs. Yet the very destructiveness of the policy is part of its political utility. The underlying logic rests on the calculation of who suffers most from the fallout. Deportations remove a vital segment of the workforce, as I'm pretty sure everybody understands, creating shortages across construction, agriculture, food service, and care industries. The departure of immigrant labor shrinks the labor pool and undermines the productivity of the entire nation. But the communities hit hardest by these disruptions Immigrant-heavy neighborhoods, large urban centers are often the political base of the American opposition, be it whatever, or you can agree to disagree, liberal Democrats, but also more radical class-conscious organizers. The expectation is that the burden of economic and social damage will fall more heavily on them, while the right can spin the narrative, blaming open borders or immigrants themselves as they are ironically expelling them. At the same time, mass deportation opens lucrative opportunities for capital as well. A growing deportation industrial complex has already emerged in which private companies profit from detention, surveillance, and enforcement. Immigration detention is heavily privatized. Corporations like GEO Group and CoreCivic, that we talked in a very good bonus episode, already dominate the field, and their financial structures incentivize keeping detention centers completely full. Technology companies like Palantir provide the data infrastructure for mass monitoring, turning enforcement of deportation into a high-tech marketplace. Keyword there, marketplace. By treating deportation as an investable asset class, financial capital gets tied directly to the machinery of exclusion. This entanglement strengthens the permanence of hyperdeportation as policy, making them less vulnerable to short-term political shifts. If there's too much money to be made from a project, no matter how inhumane or stupid it is, it becomes untouchable by changing administrations. I mean, that's why you don't have free healthcare in the States. It's tied directly to the interest of capital, not only the state which serves said capital. So, an even bigger TLDR, there's more and more money being made from deportations that will create an industry of its own that will lobby future potential administrations, making it free from a potential cancellation, because that's how politics works in the United States. If there's too much money in a thing, it fucking lobbies to keep itself alive. That's the poison of capital. It's not brought up exclusively by rationality. Sometimes you can make money out of really fucked up shit, which then continues that cycle. Snake eating its own ass. I haven't said that in a very long time. Yeah. The way ICE operates also relies a lot on spectacle. Very highly publicized raids and removals serve as a symbolic function, as much for MAGA supporters to rejoice over and enshrine their political allegiances as it is for the political enemy to start jittering in their underwear. Though, guys, I think we can agree that the media spectacle thing, to an extent, is really failing with ICE, because we're just seeing video after video after video of them either really, really fucking overdoing it. I mean, they're already overdoing it. They're reporting a human being. Yeah. But also like falling flat on their head, getting, people running away from them on fucking bicycles, dropping guns all the time, shooting themselves. They're not picking their best soldiers in the white supremacist army of 2021. And of course, that's just one of the many contradictions that riddle this entire project. Economically, it risks undermining industries, damaging growth in ways that could alienate even parts of big capital. There are tensions within the right as well, while some factions see the policy as electorally advantageous. Others, particularly in the corporate world, fear the consequences for labor supply and for profits. Yet these contradictions do not erase the strategy's potential power. By redistributing economic pain unevenly and channeling political blame onto immigrants, deportation is framed as a class weapon. It disciplines labor, weakens opposition strongholds, enriches certain sectors of capital, and consolidates violent control as a legal means of governing. The risk of overreach and backlash is real, but their logic is clear. Even destructive policies can be politically effective if their costs are shifted onto the opposition. So, to conclude the segment, Deportations function as mechanisms of class politics, reshaping labor markets, consolidating right-wing political power, and embedding profit into the state's coercive apparatus. To counter it, opposition cannot limit itself to moral appeals or narrow legal arguments. It must connect the struggle against deportation to wider battles over labor and civil rights. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is about. What we're trying to say here is, don't be just like, oh, because it's wrong, or just deportations are bad because it's a human being, or deportations are bad because I don't believe in borders, etc., etc. No, it is also that is also correct, but it is also a direct attack on your way of life as well, because eventually you will feel it in your pockets and in that digit that comes into your bank account or even your potential job. It must connect the struggle against deportation to wider battles over labor and civil rights, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. To write it off, like I did at times as a long-term, unsustainable reactionary strategy of the U.S., is to ignore the real dynamics at play here. And while it is a surefire sign of the rabid lashing out of a dying empire, dying empires can last a very long time. Mm-hmm. And ICE is both a crutch and a noose. But to think it is only one or the other is to give into liberal naivete.